One of the most anticipated cards in Genius Invocation is now available. After a long-awaited 3 weeks, Cyno is now unlockable thanks to there being enough XP to hit level 7. If you're anything like me, you're probably super excited to play him, and you're wondering what the best Cyno deck is so far. And I'm here to introduce you to one that will shock your opponents out of the game. Literally. What is up, guys, gals, and non-binary pals? My name's Luker, and today I'll be showcasing Cyno OTK, the best Cyno deck for Genius Invocation. If you enjoy this video, consider subscribing. I upload multiple times a week, but let's just get right into it. Cyno OTK, or Cyno One-Turn Kill, is an archetype that aims to kill your opponent in one turn, as the name suggests. If you've played as or against Ayaka Yoimiya, this deck is fairly similar. It aims to also make use of Yoimiya's elemental burst to take over the game. Thanks to this ability, your characters will apply Pyro Reaction on attacks, which allows you to do some crazy strong things. Now, you're probably asking yourself why you should be playing this version of the deck instead of the Ayaka Yoimiya variant, and well, let me introduce you to Cyno's passive, Lawful Enforcer. This passive ability gains a stack at the end of each round, and gains 2 after using your elemental burst. It does a few different things, but the one that we need to look at is what happens when you have 2 stacks. When you get 2 stacks, Cyno's attacks will begin to apply the electro element. When you have 4 or more stacks, you begin to deal 2 more damage per attack with Cyno, and when you have 6 or more stacks, your amount of stacks gets lowered by 4, essentially resetting it, but the game will never go that long. This is very similar to Ayaka, but unlike her, he doesn't lose the effect at the end of the turn. This allows you to do a lot of different things, such as end the turn on Cyno while still being able to pop off at the start of your next turn. You can't do this with Ayaka because you lose the cryo element, meaning you don't have your 2 elements to stack for the resonance, which kind of ruins the game plan. Electro and cryo together applies Overloaded, which deals 2 additional damage to your target and force swaps them to their next available unit. Not only does this do a large amount of damage, but the disruption really ruins your opponent's game plan, as you can deny their attacks with the units they've chosen to play. The last character you'll be running is Kaching, as if Cyno dies, having an extra Electro character for the Overloaded Resonance is really strong. On top of this, having 2 Electro characters lets you run the Electro Synergy cards, such as Elemental Resonance Woven Thunder and Elemental Resonance High Voltage, which are super solid cards for the deck. This will be your typical game plan that will play out in the majority of games. First, you'll open with Yoimiya, attack twice to get your burst up. On the next round, you'll want to use your burst, then swap to Cyno at the best convenient time. Afterwards, smack your opponent's characters until they all die, which honestly, just kind of auto-attack, they'll eventually die. And that's it, you probably won the game. It's pretty straightforward, but a lot of the skill comes from the mulligan phase, so let's take a look at that. As I mentioned in my other guides, the mulligan phase is at the start of the game where you choose which cards you keep in your starting hand. Now, the deck is very new, so this information could be outdated in a few days or weeks even, but for now these are the best cards to search for. Every game you want to actively look for NRE, Parametric Transformer, and as always, Paimon. NRE is a great card to keep as it cycles through your deck, allowing you to draw an extra card a turn, specifically food, by cycling the food that you have. It also gives you a chance to draw the really important cards such as Minty Meat Rolls for your combo turn, or Lotus Flower Crisp to deny damage for your opponent's combo. As with Ayaka Yoimiya, you want to use Minty Meat Rolls on your attacking turn with Cyno, that way you can lower the cost of his attacks to 1 die less and you can just steamroll through your opponent. On the other hand, Lotus Flower Crisp is more of a defensive food, as it lowers the amount of damage you'll take from the next attack. This is really good when you're playing against other Cyno decks, or even Ayaka Yoimiya, as you can deny so much damage and protect a unit, keeping Cyno alive at a very crucial moment. Now, I don't really need to explain it, but as you'd expect, Parametric and Paimon both give you more die, which gives you more flexibility and a stronger future turn. I don't know about you, but more die equals more cards that I can play, or more times I can attack, and more times my opponent can attack, so I like that quite a bit. Aside from that, much like the other OTK deck, consider keeping Gambler's Earrings, as the card enables your combo turn, allowing you to pop off. Every time you kill a unit, you'll gain 2 more die, which means with Minty Meat Rolls, you can just kind of repeatedly attack until your opponent runs out of cards. And finally, last but not least, if you don't have Paimon in your hand, Liben is a really good keep as well, as it can also give you more die and card draw. Now, it might be weird, a lot of people keep Liben in every hand, but I typically don't keep him if I already have Paimon, as it's hard to feed die into Liben when you're spending 3 die on your favorite emergency food. It's one of those things where both cards are really good, but because of how important they are to focus on one, you can't really get value out of both of them in most games, so I typically just keep one and then look for a different card. Cyno OTK seems like a very consistent deck, and honestly maybe one of, if not the best decks in Genius Invocation. With new cards such as Beidou and Klee coming out soon, there's a chance the game will see a massive shift though, and I cannot wait to see where the game ends up. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this deck guide, subscribe to my channel for more. As I said, I upload multiple times a week, and if you want good content to level up your gameplay, this is the place to be. Peace out, Cub Scouts. I'll see you guys next time.